Welcome back to our 2025 Spark Your Magic Summit. And we are joined for our second session of the day with the wonderful Dare to Glow coach, Joyceloy Kumperi. Joyceloy, thank you so much for taking the time to be here today.
It's always a pleasure. Coaching mind is family, like I always say. So it's always a pleasure being here, making an impact with you.
No, it's always wonderful to have you here with your amazing energy. I love your energy when you present. This again is like similar to Jane. This is your fourth year here at Coaching Minds presenting. So congratulations on hitting 4 years and always coming back to present for us each year. It's fantastic.
Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate that.
Nah, excellent. And if you're tuned in, please say hi to Joyce Saloy. Don't be shy. If you've got any questions or anything you want to comment as we go through Joyce Saloy's presentation today, please drop them in the comments box. But Joyce Saloy, I know a lot of people who are tuning in probably have already met you. You've done a lot of work with Coaching Mind, so just at our summit, you've done other talks as well. But for those of you who don't know anything about the Dare to Glow coach, can you tell a little bit about yourself to our audience?
All right. I'm super excited, first of all. And like Paul says, for me, I'm all about that energy bubble. But a brief about myself, better known as the Dare to Glow coach. I love daring people to get out of their comfort zone so that they become a better version of themselves. One of the things that I love and has transformed my life is knowing that each day that goes by, I'm able to put an impact in someone's life. So for me, briefly, the introduction I can give myself today for anyone who would want to know me is I'm all about that impact. So for today, it's all about impact.
No, excellent. And I'm wondering what you've got in store to dare us to do today. So let's see what you're going to dare us to do today in your presentation. And you're going to help us move from tension to transformation is the kind of short title of your topic, yeah?
Thank you. So the reason why I got the tension to transformation, and I know everyone will be wondering, is it will come through slowly, and I hope by the end of it we'll get to know where it came in. But for now, I'm excited having all of you who have tuned in and looking forward to making an impact in everyone's life here.
Excellent. So let's say hello to a couple of people, and then I'm going to hand you over the stage to your presentation. So we've got Sharon tuned in. She's saying she's ready. Priya's tuned in, saying hello, Joy. And Paul, looking forward to it. Fiona's tuned in and ready to go as well. Looking forward to hearing the presentation. We've also got Jane as well. Happy to be here. So welcome, everybody. Joyce Loy, on that note, I'm going to hand it over to you. Looking forward to what you've got in store for us today. Thank you.
All right, let's do this. Thank you so much, Paul. All right, so from tension to transformation, unlocking the power of conflict for better communication and connection. And like I said, today it's all about making impact, but just a little bit of what I did not say is I do career coaching, leadership coaching. I'm an author of Dare to Glow and recently got certified as a behavior consultant. So I'm super excited having you today, and I hope by the end of the session, we are able to spark the magic in becoming better communicator and connecting better. All right. So the title itself, when you read the word tension, it's all about so much that is happening that is unknown. But how do we get to the point of being transformed, feeling like you have things under control? So I am going to take you through a little bit of detail today, but also a bit of some storytelling on us understanding what it means to unlock the power of conflict. Because, like you see down here, there's someone who wants to connect, but there's something hindering, and that's the tension. But the reminder, which I want everyone to go out with today, is conflict is inevitable, but it does not have to dim your magic. Now, why does conflict matter? For me, one of the things that I love talking about with people is them getting to know that we are human. And as human, we err. So if we are human and we err, we are in different environments. We have family, we have friends, we have work colleagues. How can we make conflict into transformation, or how can we turn the tension we have with people that we are with, because conflict is more of tension. And one thing that I would wish everyone to take away today is your perspective shapes your outcome. So why do I say this? It's either fuel tension, breaks down, or spark growth and innovation. And this is because every time there is tension, there will not be growth at all. I've seen it in workplaces, I've seen it in families, and I've seen it also with friends, that every time there is tension and conflict is not resolved, obviously there will not be growth at all. So how can we spark that growth? How can we spark that innovation and become better people, become better in our friendships, our relationships, both personal and in our career? Now, if we are to shift our mindset, because everything is about shifting the mindset, and I want to give one good example. Now, give an example. You are at work and you have conflict with a work colleague. This is maybe beginning of your time of working with this individual. Maybe you clash on something. Maybe somehow you ask them something and the reply they give you makes you feel like you are not welcome. It makes you feel like this person is pushing you aside. Mind you, it's a new relationship. You barely know each other. The best thing I would say in shifting your mindset in such a situation is most people would be like, I don't want to even associate with this person because maybe they were rude to me. But how about you turn it to saying, asking yourself questions like, what can I learn in this situation if someone comes and tells me, oh, don't touch my things. I have things on my table, do not touch them, or do not use my things without permission. To you, it may be more of sharing is caring all the time, but to this person, I want boundaries. So ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation if someone is telling me, do not touch my things, or do not even come in my space? It might be this person just wants space in terms of getting to know you fast. So the thing that I would want you to understand today, and maybe even write down this question, is what can I learn in this situation? How can this make me a better person? How can this make my relationship better with this person? So shifting our mindset, because most people say, what does shifting the mindset mean? Do I have to shift my mind and put it somewhere else? So shifting the mindset in people is always different depending on how a person explains it. So for me, clearly, I am going to tell you that the only way you can shift your mindset is always questioning everything. That why does this person always say I shouldn't touch their belongings? Does it mean they don't want to be friends with me? Does it mean I'm not a good colleague? So instead of you asking yourself this why, get into curiosity. Have the curiosity mindset. Replace the fear of thinking these people don't like you or this person doesn't like you, to being curious enough to ask them, go to them. If it is family, ask the family member, how can we be better? How can we do better in our relationship? If it is this friend, because you find this narrative where people say, I was with this person for this period of time. Now that I got what I wanted with them, I don't need them anymore. It can't work like that. So instead of having all these mindsets of thinking people left you or you're in conflict with people, Talk to them. Ask. Instead of just assuming, ask. I remember when I was doing NLP in a few years ago in Dubai, they always asked us, if someone tells you you can't do this, the first thing you have to ask yourself, why me? Why can't I do it? So it goes also to conflict. It goes to every other thing in our life that you have to keep questioning it. You can't stay in the bubble of believing when someone says something that is what it is. So give yourself an opportunity to believe that conflict is not threat. It is an opportunity for you to grow mindset wise, and you can only grow mindset wise if you ask questions. Now, how can we build emotional intelligence through conflict or whatever is happening in our day-to-day life? The first thing is self-awareness. Recognize the triggers. What are those things that trigger you? Now, you find that I was having a session on conflict management a few weeks ago. And one thing we were learning is our different styles of dealing with conflict. When I gave a task, I gave an activity to the delegates that attended this session. And I remember one person telling me, all these years of my life, I didn't know that I was a tortoise. So when I was teaching, or when I am teaching about conflict management or training, I use 5 styles of different conflict approach. Like, we all have different styles of dealing with conflict. Now, there is a tortoise. Now, I'm still on the topic of self-awareness. There is a tortoise. If you have a pen or pencil, you can write it. There's a tortoise, which is slow. These are people who are very slow at dealing with conflict. Something happens, you take time to come through on talking about it with the other person. That is a person who we call a tortoise in terms of dealing with conflict. The second person is the owl. The owl is the one who collaborates. This is the individual who wants a win-win situation. Everything will happen in terms of conflict. The first thing they are going to do is to come and ask where I said, please go and ask what happened. Why are we in this space? That is the collaborative one. Win-win situation, the owl. This person is going to come and ask you, where can we do better? If I did this, maybe you also did this. So that's where you come in and even talk about what exactly has happened between the two of you. And you deal with it. If it is work and this work colleague maybe said something and you're not happy about it, you apologize, you find common ground and move on. Now, there is the fox. The fox, and then we also have the other 3. But before I go to the 3, I want to talk about why I was explaining to you these 5. Self-awareness is very important for you to recognize what triggers you in conflict. I gave you an example of the tortoise. When you get to learn that for you with conflict, you take a step back, you take things slowly, you start learning that when you're in conflict with people, that is the best thing you do. And your friends get to understand you. Your family get to understand you. Even the people you work with, they get to understand you if you let them know. But you cannot know that you are taught us in terms of dealing with conflict if you do not come through and learn about it. The owl, who is the collaboration, the one who loves collaboration. You cannot learn that if you do not become aware of it. And the only way you can become aware of it is if you go in a situation where you are able to collaborate with other people and come to terms to understand that I went wrong, you went wrong, I am sorry, how can we move on? And then the fox is the one who is accommodating. The fox is the one, the bear. I'll go to the bear. I want to go in line on how they are. So the bear is the one who is accommodating. These are individuals who will always say, it's okay. Anything that happens, it's okay. Don't worry. So they are all about lose and the other person wins. So you'll find that these individuals always feel pained, but then they don't come out to talk about it. They feel bad with what they are going through, but they don't even talk about it. Now, when you get to become aware that you are a teddy bear, you're always accommodating others when they hurt you. You're always accommodating other people when they put you in situations that you don't want to be in. You start taking your power back. Because most cases, and I'm not saying when you are accommodating of other people, treating you the way they treat you is wrong. It is wrong. It can also be right in your way, because maybe you are one person who doesn't want to talk about conflict. You don't want to deal with it. But when you get to learn that you deal with conflict in a way that is always accommodating, you learn your limits. You learn to set more boundaries. So it is not wrong for you. It is not wrong for you to learn and become more aware of how you deal with conflict, or on how you want to communicate better and build better connection with other people. Now, the fox is one who always looks at, let's see, 50-50. Maybe this time around, if I win, next time, you win, So there is a bit of I accommodate you, you accommodate me, So in the long run, I would want you to go out there and search about the conflict management using animals, and this will come through for you. You will get to learn. You become more self-aware of how you can deal with conflict when you read about them in depth. Now, I want to go to self-regulation. Self-regulation is when, if you are in a situation where there is tension, the best thing to do is pause. Pause before you react. Imagine if you got Sprite and Pepsi and shook them at the same time, what would happen? A splash of soda will be all over the place. But then get water and shake it. What will happen? So I love to remind myself when I get in situation personally, because I get people who ask me, don't you also get in conflict? I do. I'm human. But how do I deal with it? I pause. Some people may take it as weakness. I'll be honest with you. But remember to pause. When you pause, it helps you to come back and respond instead of reacting, because you find that in most cases, in most situations, we react instead of pausing and coming back and responding. We find ourselves reacting. Someone comes and tells you, oh, by the way, someone said this about you. Before you even talk to the person and get to know what exactly they said, you're already babbling, you're already getting angry and saying so many words. So learning to take that pause. Priya, thank you so much for that comment. Awareness, set boundaries, regain power. You can only do that when you become self-aware of how you deal with conflict. And when you start regulating, there's nothing that can put you in a situation where you react. Now, the next thing is empathy. Try and step into the other person's shoes. Why is this person behaving this way? You try and put yourself in their shoes. I know there are so many people who say, I can't put on that person's shoes. They can't fit me. No one's shoes will ever fit you, and your shoes will never fit anyone. But sometimes in situation for you to get to understand, and for me, I'll be honest, when I joined Coaching Mind and got certified, I remember one of the things that we were taught was, do not look at yourself in situations of sympathizing. Always have empathy for others. If I made this person feel that way, what if it's me, you know? Always remember that. If I am hurting this person, what if it's me? If I am doing this to the other person, what if it was me? Always put yourself in that, what if it was me? If you don't want to put on their shoes, at least put yourself in. If I made that person feel that way, how would I feel? So it will help you become better in the way you treat other people, and it will help you connect instead of the tension. Now, emotional intelligence equals superpower in tough conversations. The moment you get to learn how to carry yourself, it will become easy for you. Your superpower in every situation will be, you know what? This doesn't have anything on me. And the tension, because every time you have tension and you don't have these things, these 4 things, or you've not even aligned yourself with these 4 things, you are definitely going to have tension. And no one, I will repeat it, no one will want to be around you when you're always full of tension. Because then that means you're always reacting, you're always complaining, you're always finding fault in everything. Priya here says a question, and I'll wait for it to come on the screen. What if the relationship is toxic? So she says, what if the relationship is toxic, and even after setting boundaries, the other person continues to push us beyond the limit? That's a very good question, because I know most of us have gone through this. The one thing research shows that we get more hurt by the people we love. And the reason why we get more hurt, or we feel like the people we love push us beyond, is because we are with them all the time. No one is going to hurt you who doesn't know you. But the most important thing is respecting your boundaries. If someone cannot respect your boundaries, if someone is toxic, I would say reflect, do self-awareness, recognize why exactly the relationship is toxic. And if you are able to sit with this person, or even get a coach or someone that can support you, and maybe it doesn't go as planned, you may have to find another solution. And I think I'll get back to this, because in most cases, when we are in situation where someone is toxic, it depends on how many times we have accommodated it, how many times we've been in situations where we are accepting what is coming. Because the moment we keep accepting it and consuming it in, we may lose ourselves. I think that's the best word I can use. So I think the best thing to do is to seek help. All right. Thank you so much for that question, Priya. And I'll go on to the next part of our slides. So I want to share a few tools for transforming conflict. And some of these are going to be: listen with empathy, hear beyond words. Do not just hear someone. Listen. When you listen with empathy, that's where you get into where they are. This is how you feel. You get into where they are. and you can hear beyond their words. You can feel what they feel. The other thing is speak with clarity. Use I statements, not blame. Most situations where we fail to resolve conflict is when we use the you did this, you are the one, you are the one who did this, you are the one who failed to do this. So when you put yourself in the I would have, or the I statement really helps to be clear on what you want the other person to get better at, or on how you want the situation to get better. But when you use the you, it becomes like as if you're pointing fingers at the other person. And I always say, when you point a finger at the other person, remember all the other 4 fingers are pointing at you. So what about you? So while you point the fingers to the other person, you did this to me, you said this to me, what about the 4 fingers? That means you also have something to contribute to what is happening. So how about it becomes this? Let's talk about and see how we can do a win-win situation, become the all. So the other thing is seek common ground, collaboration over competition. And this is where I want to talk about the fifth type of conflict in people, the one who loves competition. And the one who loves competition is I wish I could get someone who knows about this. It will be really nice to interact with you here. There's the competition. Who is that one who loves competition? The shark. So in conflict styles, there are people who are shark. They don't want to lose. They are in the wrong, but they will never admit it. They will never accept that they are in the wrong. So they will always be the ones who are like, no, it is me. It is you who did this. They are the ones who want to win. Every situation, they are the ones who are winning. They're the ones who are right. They're the ones who are right. And we call them the shark. They're the ones who compete instead of collaborate. And the moment, and that's why I'm like tools to transform, the moment these individuals get to learn that collaboration is the ingredient of everything, then they've won. And they don't know that. So let's see collaboration over competition. Let's be owls. Let's be owls. I know we can't all be, but I know we can try. We can give it our best shot. We can spark that magic in us. Let's collaborate rather than compete. Now, Cindy says, love this, Joy. Scorekeepers can be difficult. I like that. It's very true, honestly. We always have to pull each other up. So I have a line, thank you for sharing, Cindy. I have a line here that says conflict equals conversation equals connection. If you have conflict, the only way that conflict can be resolved is when you have a conversation about it. If I have conflict with let me say Chantel, my good friend Chantel, the only way we can resolve that conflict is Chantel telling me, this is what you did, Joyce Loy. And okay, I am sorry. Maybe I didn't know how this would make you feel. I apologize. That is you having a conversation. And then I also tell this person, I tell Chantel, okay, you would have done this and this and this and this. I feel that. And then the connection will be back. But there is no way you're going to have connection when you've not had a conversation. Conflict, conversation, and then connection. They walk hand in hand. Try it. Try it at home, and you can also try it at work with your work colleagues. All right. The next thing that I'm going to be sharing is what transformation means. What does transformation mean today? When I talk about from tension to transformation, when I talk about unlocking the power of conflict or better communication and connection, I mean from misunderstanding to meaningful conversations. If we have a misunderstanding, let's have a meaningful conversation and be better. From tension to trust. If we have tension happening, the only way we can have that tension is the first thing I said, is having that meaningful conversation. And then we will move from tension to trust. The last one is the conflict, from conflict to connection and innovation. Now, when you look at this caterpillar, I love the transformation that happens with a caterpillar. Imagine it's a caterpillar. It goes into the cocoon. For so long, it's in the cocoon for weeks. And then it comes out and it's a very beautiful butterfly. The only way this transformation can happen for you, especially when you're dealing with conflict, especially when you want transformation in your life, you have that tension, is when you accept to have meaningful conversations. And like we love to say these days, you can only connect with people if you are authentic. So are you authentic to yourself? Or you go out there and you are the only person who is right? The other person is the one who is wrong. So let's put ourselves in situations where we have misunderstandings, which are a part of life. I'll be honest with you. Misunderstandings will be there, you know. But how we handle them, how we deal with them is by having meaningful conversation. And the only way you can have a meaningful conversation is if you tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to have a positive mindset. I'm going to talk to this person from a place of love. I think I've said this before. Jenny's saying, put yourself in the other person's shoes, always keeping in mind that people are going through a lot in their world. Yes, of course. Thanks for that comment. Everyone is going through a lot in their life. But going back to what I just said, and it blends well with what Coach Jane has just mentioned now, is when you notice the misunderstanding, talk about it. Because a lot can go on in Chantel's life, a lot can go on in Joyce Loy's life. Living worlds apart. One is in Uganda, another one is in UAE. But how are they able to even sort out their misunderstandings while they are miles away? Is by having those meaningful conversations. You know what? I called you the other day. You did not pick up. What happened? 4 times. I'm calling you. Are you ignoring me? The only way I can sort, or the only way I can make Chantel understand is, Chantel, I was going through this and this and this. Now, can we do better? And I remember one time having a conversation with a very good friend of mine, Joy, if she's watching right now. She told me, I remember last year when I was in South Africa for our event, she told me that when you are in a situation with someone and you feel it's not comfortable, always start with just that simple word: I'm coming from a place of love. I want us to talk about this, and whatever I am going to talk about, I am coming from a place of love. Trust me, however hard-hearted this person is, however, I don't even know how to explain, however solid this person is in terms of what has happened, they will soften, because I believe everyone wants to be loved, you know? So when you come from a place of love, talking to someone you once loved, someone you love, someone you want to stay in connection with, that is the word. Come from a place of love, you know? Rather than blame, let it be from a place of love. That tension will go away and trust will be built. Conflict will go away and there will be connection and innovation. All right, let's get to our next slide. Now, I am going to be sharing some call to action. And one of the call to action is actually from my book, Dare to Glow, which is all about growth in your career, for new graduates, or even us who have been in the working industry for so many years. You can still use the Dare to Glow book, because some of the things that are in there are all about transforming you from A to B to C. Now, some of the things I want to share that are on page 74 are all about growth. And like I love to say, the word glow in Dare to Glow, the word glow, G is for grow, build the self-awareness. There's no way you are going to become better version of yourself. There's no way you're going to take attention to transformation if you don't become aware of who you are. Because if you do not become aware of who you are, you're going to be defined by so many people. People are going to define you. They're going to try and make you a version they want. So grow into that self-awareness to get to know who you are. Now, lead conversations with empathy and clarity. Put yourself in that person's shoes, like I said before, get to learn the self-awareness, get to learn what your style is in dealing with conflict. Let your friends know, let your family members know. Are you a tortoise? Are you an owl? Are you a fox? Are you a shark? Because when I was having a training, when I was having a facilitating training in Dubai, I think last year on this same topic on conflict management, I remember one person said, I am a shark. I am a shark. I love to win in everything. But do you know what? I love when I am winning, my team is winning. Yo, let me tell you, the team vowed to it. They said he makes us. He's trying to make us who he is. He's trying to make us into sharks. So this, I was training as sales executives, and I remember them saying, you know what, we like it. So if the people you work with get to learn that you are a shark, they get to learn that you're competitive, your team has to be the one winning. That means you are winning and they are winning. So how about while you are becoming aware of yourself, you also let people around you to become aware of who you are, so that you serve them better and they serve you better. Because as leaders, we are servants. As leaders, we are meant to serve. While we want to be served, we have to serve first. So become aware of who you are. Become aware of who you are in terms of dealing with conflict, and it will help you. Now, Fiona says, depending on the situation, I'm either an owl or a bear. I like that. And Fiona, let me tell you something. We all have these in us. We all have the fox in us. We all have the owl in us. But I'm glad you are able to actually even realize exactly where you fall. Thank you so much for sharing. And Priya says, and take you for granted. Yeah, there's some people take you for granted. So getting to learn exactly how you have been dealing in terms of conflict, how you've been dealing with them, it will bring that strength in you on how you can handle yourself better in terms of tension and turning it in transformation and connection. Now, own your voice and take responsibility for your part in conflict. When you become aware, when you start leading conversation with empathy and clarity, you start owning your voice. You start taking responsibility of your part in conflict. Where you went wrong, you accept it. Where you didn't go wrong, you stand your ground and tell this person, you know what? I think we can do better here. I think you can do better here. I think I can do better here. And the only way you can do that is when you own your voice. Priya was saying, I love the way you use the animals to demonstrate the different personality. I love it. And the reason why I love it, I'll be honest with all of you, at some point in my life, I was a real big time tortoise. For me, when it came to conflict, I ran away. I was always this person. And it's the reason why I had to learn more about these animals, because I was at a point where if anything happens and the person does not apologize, or if someone does not give me reason why they are doing what they are doing to me, I just take a step back. Because first of all, I don't like fights. Like, I don't want to have conversations of arguing, where someone doesn't want to accept where they went wrong. There are situations where you're talking to someone and then they're argumentative. They're like, no, you did this. Instead of them coming to a place of accepting, you know what? I think we can come to a win-win situation. You'd find that all they want is to grab you and mash you, like I love to call it. So I got myself into learning about this personality, these animal personalities. And I don't mind us talking more about it, Priya, after, because definitely when you get to learn your animal style, you'll be like, yo, I am a... So with time, I'll be honest, with time, going back to what I said, I started learning that being a tortoise was not serving me well. First of all, as a leader, as a friend, because there are situations, I think I shared this before and I'll share it again. There are situations. I just got married. I remember just getting married in 2021. I just gotten married, and I used to just expect my husband to know what I want. So I'm this person who loves my house sparkling clean, and then I would be there cleaning, I am vacuuming, I'm washing the dishes. And then he's there on his laptop working, looking at me. And then I'm like getting angry. I'm sparking. I'm cleaning, but I'm angry. I am the whole time I'm grumbling. And then I finish cleaning, I cook. And then he asks me, did you need me to help you? Oh. It's like him saying that would be like he has opened the can of worms, huh? So he taught me, I'll be honest, he taught me that if you want help, instead of getting angry that I've not helped you, ask me, you know what? I need help here. I need you to do the dishes while I cook. It taught me that when you communicate clearly what you want to the other person, then you can come to the point of saying, you know what, I asked you for support, you didn't give it to me. But when you keep assuming this person doesn't want to help me, then that is where conflict even becomes like, you start building more tension. You start building a lot of grudge with the person who is not even building grudge with you. So he taught me that if you need help, ask me. It's as simple as telling me, do the dishes. Even if I don't do it, I don't do them exactly the time you want to do them. Because then again, that was me. I'll be like, okay, now you told me I should ask you for help. Can you do the dishes while I cook? And then he says, I will do them at my own time. No. I want you to do them now. So I had to learn to make peace with situation that when I ask for help from someone, when I ask help from my work colleagues, I don't expect them to come through immediately. Maybe they'll come through later, but at least they should let me know, And here Sharon says, I have to confess, I'm a bit over tortoise. I don't like conflict. And this also comes back to the previous session with Jen. I go quiet because I need time to process. I'm telling you, we are on this together, Sharon, I was that person. I can even take months and 6 months. And of course, some people are not patient in friendship or in relationship. You keep holding on to that I am not going to talk to the person. I am taking my time. I am processing it. They move on. So learning over the years, because everything has been a personal experience for me, because I keep saying, and I'll say it here, that you cannot talk about something you've not experienced unless you have learned it, unless you've given yourself time to understand it. But you cannot start talking about things you've not experienced, you know? So for me, what I've spoken about is my own personal experience, because clearly the only way I became collaborator, the collaborations that I've seen over the years that I've created with people, with my two partners, who I know are very busy right now with some engagements, and I understand they'll clearly watch this and they'll be proud of me. I have collaborated with those two amazing ladies from South Africa. We started up an organization in South Africa. I've done collaboration with so many people here in the UAE where I live and even back home. But the only way I did that, or I am doing that, is getting to learn that you can only become a better version of yourself when you accept it. So I had to accept that I was a tortoise and learn through becoming better at dealing with conflict. Because I can say, I'm a little bit, I'm not the tortoise I was, the 100%. Now I can say I am at 30%. You know, I still have that 30%, which I need, because to be honest, we all have the shark in us, we all have the tortoise in us, we all have the fox in us. Of course, there's that one that really dominates. And the one that is really dominating for me right now is the owl. I love to see people growing. I love working with other people. You know, it serves me well. Now, Priya says clear communication leads to cooperation and productivity. I agree with you 100%. When we communicate clearly, it becomes easier for the other person to know what we want, how we want our relationship to grow with them. And Cindy also says, Sharon Watt, coaching when I am ready, I am the owl. I like that. You can be what you want to be in terms of dealing with conflict. Indeed, I like that. So win, when we go to the W, which is win, turn challenges into stronger connections and collaborations. And then the last thing is when you glow, you transform conflict into a bridge. And when you transform conflict into a bridge, that means you are able to break barriers. You cannot break barriers if you don't transform yourself into that version. Now, as I conclude, I just want to say I got my book in 2024 last year, and it's all about unlocking career success for young professionals. But I have seen it serve me, and I've seen it serve the people that have gotten hand of it. It has so much on growth. It has so much on personal branding. It has so much on getting to learn who you want to be today, tomorrow, and becoming a better version of yourself. Now, in closure, a little bit details about myself in case anyone wants to connect. My email, my mobile number, my LinkedIn, and my Instagram account, if anyone here wants to connect with me. And I just want to conclude by saying conflict does not have to dim your light. When you listen with empathy and speak with clarity, you spark the magic that transforms tension into connection. And the reason why we are all here today is because we want to transform ourselves. We want to come from a place of sparking the magic in us. So I'll have Paul come in if you're there, Paul.
Doing the magic mute trick. No. So saying, yep, I'm here. Thank you so much for a wonderful session. It's really important for us to think about how we communicate. And personally, I'm a true believer that we are only as successful as we communicate. So having these tips and tricks that you've shared with us, all the different animals you brought in, owl, bear, shark, there was even the butterfly transformation, really good to use these analogies to help people understand. So thank you so much for that. And thank you to everybody that's tuned in and engaged. I know you were picking up the comments and the questions as we're going through. We do have a question here from Jane. And Jane's asking, How does coaching help someone move from tension to transformation?
So, thank you so much for that question, Jen. And it's two way. Do you mean in terms of getting someone to coach you to come from that place of tension to transformation? Is it coaching yourself? Because if it's coaching yourself, then there are some tools you can use, of course, to help support you. And I love the pyramid that Paul used yesterday, which helps you to basically know your values, because then they can help you understand that this is my value. I cannot allow someone to cross this value. And honestly, yesterday when Paul shared that pyramid, it sparked a lot of the wheel that we always use. But I was like, why haven't I used this pyramid in my life? So if you are to coach yourself, you can use that. But then the support that we all normally need is speaking to someone when we are going through situations. So reaching out to a coach and allowing yourself to be honest with where you are in terms of tension. That's the only way you can get to the transformation. Being honest, having that honest conversation with someone, listening to you actively and not judging you. So that is the only way I can answer your question. And allowing, because we have to allow. If you allow that, you can actually get into that to the transformation, then you will. If you go with the mindset of the negative one, then you can't. So you have to go with a positive mindset of believing that when I have this conversation with my coach, she or he will support me from the place of tension to transformation.
Excellent. No, thank you for that, Joyce Loy. And I like the two different perspectives you came from. What tools can I use to coach myself, and then what models can we bring into our coaching practice? And just to recap on a few, because there's lots of different tools we can bring as a coach in that space, as you said, to help people reflect and think. We talk about the pack model, looking at the ego states. Are we coming from a parent place? Are we reacting as a parent, or reacting as a child, or are we moving to that adult space? We talk about that perspective positioning model as well, where we can actually sit and maneuver people through a hypothetical conversation. So before they go and have that conflict, before they go and share what they need to share to have that difficult conversation, we can actually facilitate that conversation to go through. So there's lots of stuff we can use in coaching to bring into that space. And just while we're waiting for some more questions to come in, I just have a curious question for myself, Joyce, if that's okay. So do you do any work around, so a lot of the stuff you've talked about is conflict between, let's say, one-to-one basis. So me and you have a conflict, how to resolve, how do we look at that? Do you do any work around where you are a third party in that conflict, and how you can resolve conflict as kind of a bystander? So for example, if you're a manager in a team, or you're a teacher in a classroom and you see the conflict between two other people, do you do any work around that on how you can play that role of settling the peace?
Yes, I do that. Because I've realized that normally the third party can actually support more. Most cases, when you look at the two parties, none of them can even accept they're in the wrong. But until this third party listens to both of them, and also they have to come from a place of honesty, So if they come from a place of honesty, and this one says they are part of the story, the other person also says they are part of the story, then it becomes easier, especially with the tools we've learned from Coaching Mind. It becomes easier for you to pick out. When this person speaks, you can actually really pick out that this person is being honest, and this person is the one who was in the wrong, and maybe this person. But then you get to the point where you have to gauge. When they give you that part, you have to gauge with honesty on who was in the wrong, but also allow them to come to a collaborative part. Even if they're not owls, at that point of time, they have to accept where they went wrong, both of them. And of course, where they were both right. And then they agree, and problem can be solved. Sometimes we look at conflict as very difficult, but it's when we don't want to talk about it that becomes more difficult, when we don't want to talk about it. But it's solvable. Yeah.
No, excellent. Because I know you're focused on career coaching, and sometimes that third party can actually be the bridge. As you said yourself there, just sometimes you just lock heads with individuals and people can't see eye to eye. They're just too focused on their own opinion, and that third party can come in, whether it's a mediator, whether it's a relationship coach or a relationship therapist, and you do couples therapy, things like that. If it gets to that point, sometimes that third party can help. And I was just interested to know if you did any work with that to act as that bridge. Well, there's lots of love coming in for you. So Mark's saying, love being here. Priya's saying, indeed, a spanking session, packed with wisdom. Thank you, Joy. Namayan, if I pronounce this name right, sorry if I get this.
Namayanja.
Namayan Dad, thank you. Namayan Janet says, thank you so much for this session, Joy. She's tuned in. Sharon saying, thank you, Joy Saloy. Really great session. I must remember not to expect my husband to be a mind reader, but sometimes I forget.
You're forgiven, Sharon. We all do.
Communicating is important.
Yeah, it's key.
It's key. And Fiona saying, I'm surprised how many of my clients, all from my company, have asked for help with conflict management. It points to there being a wider problem in the company. And Fiona, that's true. I don't know if you want to say anything back there, Joyce Lloyd.
Yeah, what Fiona is saying is very true. And I'll be honest with you, Paul, most of the sessions I've had opportunity to go and do even simple group coaching, and it's basically on conflict, Joyce Loy, how can you give us tips on how to do better in terms of the management speaking? Because sometimes the management wants to communicate something, but the way they communicate it makes the subordinates to feel like they're not being treated well, So the conflict keeps happening in terms of we feel like they're not serving us, yet we are serving them. So I agree with Fiona 100% that there's a really big problems in terms of conflict management in all industries, all over the world. Yeah. Something you should check out, Fiona.
Yeah, no, it's a good observation and a good sharing there, Joyce. And it's not always the fact that subordinates or employees are being treated bad. Sometimes it's just the culture that you've created. Do you have open communication channels? What's the way in which communication and decision making and content or work around the business is flowing? So it's important to look at that, but it can be ingrained in the culture. So Nemanja, let's see if I get this right this time. Nemanja Jad says, ha ha ha, she's laughing to us. I got it right that time. And Fiona saying, 100% agree, recommunication. Excellent. So there's lots of love coming through for you, Joyce. So before we bring the session to a close, is there any final words you would like to leave the audience with today?
So I just want to say thank you for everyone who has tuned in, and I'm call away if anyone wants to reach out to talk more, and I would want to touch base with Fiona in terms of getting to know where, in case there's support, or we can discuss more on that conflict management. But if anyone here wants to reach out, please don't hesitate. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and of course, you can also reach out on my number. But most of all, I'm in Coaching Mind, and that's where we can even connect more. And for anyone who wants to get my book, like I showed you before, it's on Amazon UK, Amazon USA, and Amazon UAEs, and I also do deliveries in the UAE. So if for anyone who wants to grow their career, the Dare to Glow book is good for you. Otherwise, I just want to say thank you so much, Apple, for organizing Spark Your Magic. This is my fourth, and I'm always excited being part of the summit, because that's where we can make an impact to the people that we know and people we don't know. So it's a great honor being here. Otherwise, let's keep daring ourselves to glow and be a better version of ourselves.
Excellent. It's wonderful to have you back. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put your slides on the screen one more time so people can take a screenshot to know where to find you if they're interested. So there's Joyce Lloyd's details. And whilst they're doing that, I just want to say a huge thank you, Joyce, for being here and giving us another presentation for the 4th year run. And it's been really wonderful to connect with you again and listen to your wisdom. And a huge thank you to everybody who's tuned in. And stay tuned, because in just an hour's time, we have our final session of our summit with Samesh Kumar. So stay tuned for our final stage of our summit. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Joy Suloi. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to connecting with you all very soon. Thank you.
You too. All right.
Thanks.